We'll be talking about the nuances of communication skills, personality development, confidence, and spoken English for that matter. But before we hop on to the discussion, let's quickly have a brief introduction of our panelists from their own self. So, yes, we'll start with Apurva. Yes, Apurva.
Hello everyone. I am Apurva Agarwal. I am a lawyer by profession and also an entrepreneur. I currently run schools in my hometown. Because of all the learnings that I had during my time at a law firm, I decided to get that into that social media, and that's how I started this Instagram platform called Let's Be Eloquent, wherein I am a professional coach and I try to cover topics that can help someone grow professionally. So they're not at all age or gender centric. It's for everyone. So if you land up on that page, you will just end up learning something new that can help you become a great professional. I mean, I'm really looking forward to having a great discussion with some brilliant ladies out there. So yes, that's it.
Okay, thank you, Apurva. That was really sweet and brilliant as well. Sweet because you have a beautiful smile, and brilliant because it was a good introduction. Cool. So next we will go on to Trisha.
Hi, I'm Trisha Horton, and I am originally from the United States, but now I live in Spain. And I coach busy professionals online and at their workplaces how to confidently shine with their English communication skills. I love to give people their confidence. To feel at ease, because unfortunately people cut themselves down all the time and it breaks my heart. So I want people to know that they have a safe place to go to and improve not only their professional skills but also their English skills at the same time. And I've started helping more with personal growth as well, to grow their self-esteem and just have self-love for themselves. That's something that I value a lot and really want people to feel part of a community, not only in their area, but also globally, and to help others.
Oh! That's totally brilliant. And the way you enunciated your profession and your interest towards what you do shows that people will have a great takeaway today for your communication skills and other personality tips for that matter. So thank you so much, Trisha. And moving on to Divya. So yes, Divya, let people know about you.
Yes. Hi, everyone. My name is Divya Mishra. I am a full time communications coach. I also teach at a college, so I'm a professor there. I teach students between 18 to 22. I started my career as a model. I was a full time model, a full time actor. I did that for like almost 8 to 9 years, but then I couldn't move to the city where it all happens, which is Bombay in India. So I stayed back in Delhi and I started my corporate career in L&D, which is learning and development. So I was doing that for 5 years in Bangalore, but I had to come back because my dad got sick. So last year, April, yesterday itself, we finished 1 year on Instagram. So I just posted like few videos and one of them got viral. And that was my hint to, really take this seriously and take it forward. So my motto is to break expression barriers for kids, especially people who are in college, because I really believe that in India we have not been taught how to communicate basic things. For the longest time, we have been concentrating on how to speak in English, but we have not actually done how to say no to people, how to not be a people pleaser, how to communicate your boundaries. So, little things which we have never been taught, and you will be surprised to know that this year colleges have introduced communication as a
Yes.
first semester
Yes.
subject, which was shocking. So, yeah, this is something that I really want to teach kids so that they can have a better life, and that's where I'm here. Thank you.
Oh, that's amazing. That's amazing. So, being a spoken English coach myself, I do not know, because the reason being I am with such good and great panelists that I cannot harbor words more than amazing and brilliant, but I want to say a lot. Okay.
No, 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 no.
Yeah. So I am what do you say, fangirl moment. So that's for me. Okay, so I know no one is asking me, but yes, I'll tell about myself as well. So I am Anamika. I am from Mumbai. I am a communication skills coach, a ghostwriter, and a content creator on Instagram. So I did start my content creation journey in 2020. I did not intend to, but because of certain circumstance, I started to share my communication and spoken English language with people. Earlier, I was in the corporate. I was a junior brand manager for Armani and Hindustan Times, for that matter, in the year 2015, I believe, 2015, 2016. And currently, my goal is to uh, train people more about empathy in communication, because as Divya said, I second on that, that people any which way they misinterpret English in communication. All right, they think that communication is equivalent to English, and they do not understand that even if you do not know English for that matter, if you're good with communication, you can crack deals, you can be very successful, and finally you can be empathetic. So yeah, that's my goal, and yes, let's see how this session goes. I'm truly excited, which you can gauge from my face as well, expression. So yes, let's start with the question. Are you people ready?
Yes.
Yes.
And yes, I'm a bit nervous, so if I fumble, just just handle me. Okay, so yes, the very first question I would like to put on the table is for Apurva, and that's related to corporate communication, and the question is, what are the fundamental principles of corporate communication, and how do they differ from other forms of communication?
Okay, so everyone, I would just like to give a brief background. I come from a very small town, which is Meerut, which is a very, very small town in Uttar Pradesh. And I got my first job at India's top law firm called AZB and Partners. So when we talk about corporate communication, I have honestly, learned from the beginning as to how that particular thing, that communication that we talk about, can take you from here to here. But the first thing and the most important thing about corporate communication is transparency, trust, and credibility. First of all, you should yourself be open to learning this, the way of communicating. Then only you will be able to succeed in the corporate world. So when we talk about communication, it is extremely important. No matter what language you are using to communicate, you should be, number one, very clear and concise. A lot of times people aren't able to state properly or articulate their, their meanings, their words properly, and that is the biggest problem that happens in communication. So whenever we join a company, we would meet our boss and he would just give us vague instructions, do this and that, and then it would waste a lot of our time because half of the time we don't understand those jargons. So it's extremely important for every level um, of the corporate world that we are in, for people who are a part of the corporate world, to understand that the communication needs to be very clear, keeping in mind the knowledge the recipient at that particular moment has. You can't treat a junior associate at the level of a principal associate because it takes time. So please, I think it's extremely important. The first principle should be to keep the communication channel absolutely clear and concise. Number two, and I feel which is extremely important, is to build some sort of trust. Now, trust comes from what we're going to discuss further, our professional etiquette. In corporate communication, trust is extremely important. I will only be able to share my point of view with someone whom I believe would be taking it in a positive way. But what we generally see in the corporate world and otherwise also is that people are not great listeners but great advisors. They would not listen to you, but they would wait for a moment to correct you. Okay, no, you said that wrong. But be a learner, and at the same time, be extremely and extremely approachable to someone for them to clear your queries. So I think that's very, very important. Now, another important and a very basic fundamental principle is credibility. When we talk about credibility, it is that you know what you're saying, right? You should not, if for me to trust you being in that particular environment, I should be able to be trusted. So I have to gain that particular credibility to be known in the corporate world and to ease out the process of corporate communication. Now, clear, being concise, being concrete, being transparent, basic and the fundamental principle. And considering I run two schools, what I personally feel is a lot of time is how is your approach towards certain things. You can always say and correct someone in a negative way, and then you can always give a very constructive feedback. We all are on social media, and we see how the communication through us are, because we are the recipient. We aren't really replying to hundred of comments that come to us. We are the recipient. So sometimes we just, there is a simple judgment that is passed on our reels and on our posts saying this is what it is. But that is the biggest barrier of communication, which is that you need a clear channel of communication, and you should be very constructive in your approach rather than demeaning someone. And how is corporate communication different? Because, when it comes to the corporate world, it's the survival of the fittest that we say. But at the same time, in the corporate world, there's only a way up. We have to learn. We have to learn, put that learning in process, sometimes accept where we are going wrong, and then, climb on that ladder of corporate success. So I think you need to change yourself as a person sometimes too, to be able to communicate with someone who has been a part of the organization recently. So this is extremely important, and I think to have a clear and transparent channel to be good yourself is the biggest way you can ease out the whole process of corporate communication, internally and externally.
True, true, true. Very well articulated, Apurva, and I totally agree with this. There's one more point that I would like to add. If we talk about corporate communication, because I am a corporate trainer, and there are lots of hurdles I would say that come into picture. Wherein first, when you go out there, they judge you on all the aspects. They just forget about that. I'll not talk about that. But the first and foremost thing that I believe corporate should inculcate, and the leaders who we call, who are not actually leaders but bosses for that matter, they should create an environment of self acceptance. Now, what do I mean by acceptance is here, people are fearful of conveying things, conveying their messages effectively because of the fear of judgment. So when you create an environment where the person is able to accept their areas of improvement, and here still we call it as areas of improvement and not weakness. So that's first point. So if we create an environment wherein a person is allowed to accept, for instance,
Yes.
if my vocabulary is weak, so I'll tell the colleague, I'll tell one of my colleagues that, yeah, please, can you, when you use a bit of a simpler language, I am a bit short with vocabulary,
True.
right? So at that point in time, what happens is the baggage that you have of fear of judgment reduces to a very greater level. It drops down. So and then the person becomes totally approachable, and the person has something to say, and convey the message effectively, I feel. So yeah, that is that. Divya, Trisha, do you have anything to add here?
I believe I've spent almost 5 years. What is the reason why effective communication is important in the corporates is because hard skills are going to be replaced very soon. Coding is going to be replaced, everything is going to be replaced. But the only thing that matters is how you communicate to the upper level and how do you communicate to the lower level. And that's what's going to take people forward. So I'm pretty, sometimes I feel very surprised at how people have not taken communication skills seriously until now, because
Yes.
I've interviewed so many people. I have been the part of interviews, and I see, even if I'm not aware of certain topic, if I don't know the domain, if I don't know the topic properly, but still, if I know how to articulate my words and how to articulate things, I can clear. I've cleared so many interviews just by being confident in the interview, and I have experienced this personally. So yeah, I think all we need to learn is to how to not make upper level management. You know, I think it's just about how to not make lower level management feel as if they are the lower levels, and how to be actually
Absolutely.
confident to the upper level management and just be normal. So yeah.
True, true, true. Trisha, do you have anything to add here?
Yeah, I think a lot of people, they need to feel part of a team, and the company is a team, and even the lower level people are such an important rung on the ladder. And I think the upper level sometimes needs to remember that and kind of come more down to earth. I think nobody's perfect. Everybody's a human. And you need to remember that you're a team. And without a team, the company is not going to work. And I think that companies really need to invest once a year in some sort of email writing practice, because today I got an email telling me to translate something, but they didn't even use the word translation in the email. So I wrote back, kind of playing with it a little bit, going, could you please inform me about what exactly I need to do? Just kind of like I knew what I had to do, but the person was speaking to me with oral skills. She was speaking to me as if she was talking to me and not writing me an email. And the second email was the same. So it's like, okay, I give up. I'll do what I have to do because I know. But there was a huge example of lack of investment on a huge company that has places all over the world, and they're not investing in their workers to improve email writing.
I totally get that. This has
For
happened
that,
with me as well.
for that, Anamika, anybody can get in touch with us if they need, if the
Yes.
companies need training.
Yes.
Yes,
I
we can
train
very
people
much.
for email writing. Okay, subtle pitching. Yeah. Okay. Well, speaking of email writing, so email writing is done in English. So the next question is for Trisha yourself. What strategies can individuals employ to improve their spoken English skills, particularly in professional settings?
Okay, so this is what I do with corporate. I go in and I focus on exactly what they need. They need training. I don't want to say they're classes because they're not kids anymore. And classes kind of like, I don't know, they feel like they're going back to school, and I want them to feel like they're improving in their work skills more than I'm going to English class, So I like to consider it English training rather than classes. They need to focus on exactly what they need. So the other day we were working on telephone templates that they have in their computers now that we worked on in class, because they're like, I need to be able to say this on the telephone. And if I freeze, I can come to these templates and speak about what I need to, if somebody is on hold or if somebody is unavailable or things like that. And also focus on presentation work, okay, you have this product, you need to present it. Let's present it now, prepare and then unprepared because things come up. So focusing these trainings, these English trainings with their needs, I think is the best thing. And we practiced telephoning the other day, and I said, okay, now we're going to record you. And that made them even more nervous, like that real feeling of using the telephone. So they're like, oh, wow, the adrenaline rush. And I said, yeah, exactly. So now you know how you're going to feel when you make a telephone call.
Yes.
And now you can listen to it at home and improve it.
Yeah. So talking about this, when you talked about templates, so what I do is when I generally train professionals. So when I give them the templates, confidence cheat sheet or professional setting elevator pitches, so what they do is they try to copy and paste everything. So I've already told that. So they had, one of my trainees had a question. I had a question that, Anamika, if I use this template, then how would I be able to upskill myself? So there's this one thing about templates that we trainers try to put out there is template is just like a GPS for you. So you do not need to copy paste it. So whenever we listen to a music or any mantras for that matter, we tend to subconsciously absorb it and accept it. So if you practice it on a daily basis, so sorry. So you subconsciously you will have that template in your mind, and obviously according to your needs you can customize, add or subtract anything to that template, and that's how you become fluent. And when we give templates, the reason is that once you start to have the access to the template, you start to become a little confident. Because you can learn a skill, but unless and until you have confidence in you, you just cannot learn anything else for that matter, I believe. So yeah, anyone else, Divya or Apurva, do you have anything to put up here? Acha, okay.
We absolutely agree with with you both.
Thank you. Okay. So let's hop on to the third question, and that's for Apurva again. Divya, yes, I have questions for you also. Saving for the best. All right. So Apurva, the next question is what you do is all about professional etiquette. And the
True.
question is, how does practicing professional etiquette contributes to one's credibility and success in the workplace?
So basically, when we talk about professional etiquette, that is what is going to help people, you understand how you are being perceived. From a simple handshake to how well spoken you are, to how well dressed you are, to how nicely and professionally you're drafting your email would speak a lot about you. And it is only then your peer or people in the organization or the people outside the organization with whom you are having a communication will be able to trust you if they feel that you're actually committed to being a professional. And that only comes when you're a learner and when you're ready to grow. Now we live in a world where networking is everything. We go and attend events, we meet people in organization, in our company. From our company we go out and meet people. And when we talk about networking, it's not just about exchanging numbers, but it's also about how you're representing yourself and the whole organization you're coming from. So when we talk about professional etiquette, it is everything in today's world. So people should definitely invest a good amount of time in learning those skills. Number one, from those people whom they admire in the organization if they haven't learned them before. Like I said before, I came from a very small town, and the person who used to sit beside me was a partner, and he was amazing when it came to speaking. So I admitted to him and I told him that, I'm not that great. Will you teach me? He taught me. I learned those skills. I was very observant. When I used to go to events, I used to see how people used to talk, eat at the table. And these are the skills which made me stand out from the rest. And these are the skills which I'm now teaching the world. So, professional etiquette is going to create an impression that will make people believe in you, in your commitment towards your work, and you will be remembered for those small gestures that you do. For example, the way someone handed you his or her business card, and you took a moment to have a look at it instead of just keeping it directly in the purse, or how you went to a corporate event and you were dining alongside others. So people do notice those small things, and that is how you are remembered out of the others, because you were probably the one who had educated herself when it came to professional etiquette. So I think it's everything. People should take out time to learn them in order to be able to survive in this world of cutthroat competition. Of course, speaking properly, drafting your emails properly is one of it. Once I was asked that, in the world of chat GPT, why do I need to learn the skill of professional email writing? I said, you also need to have some sort of judgment. Whatever you're being given, you should at least know. That's where Anamika points come into picture, that you can't just copy paste everything. You should have your own sense of judgment. So, in a world where everything is being served in a platter, it's better we choose what is good for us and what is going to make us a better professional. Learning professional etiquettes is definitely going to help everyone in a long run. And I personally believe that, as Divya said, that she's on a mission to educate children, especially college students. They need to learn it the most, because when they enter into the corporate world, they are expected to know everything. And honestly speaking, if you ask a fresher to draft an email, he or she would not be able to do this. It's not their fault, probably, because they haven't been taught this. But these are the skills that are way more important than the basic book knowledge that we are being given at college. So I think, yes, can't stress more on the importance of professional etiquette.
Yeah, yeah, I totally agree with you on this. And talking about professional etiquettes, I've seen people. So I'll just give you a gist about this, and you people must have encountered this situation. So I'll talk about me personally, myself. Sorry, that I am a jolly person. I am an extrovert person. You must have got a picture about it since the time I'm talking. So yes, I do maintain professional etiquettes. I do maintain a boundary wherein I know where do I have to speak much or where do I have to keep quiet. But many a time what I find is that people judge you. So what do you think, what, but like this is a question to everyone, that is it very important that you have to, behave like a very serious and an elderly person who doesn't smile, or who takes things to himself or herself for that matter?
No, but I think that's what I said at the beginning. It's, it's all about how you're being perceived. So
Hmm.
if you're in a given situation, so for example, in Amika, you are now given an opportunity that you have to go to Harvard and give a lecture, right? So you would want to be perceived like a communication coach, and for that, sometimes we have to follow the
Hmm.
quintessential society norms of representing ourselves. Like you would want to be like very formally dressed and probably wearing your smart suit. So sometimes I think the world does demand that,
Hmm.
but I think when you ease into the process, then you can be yourself. And
Okay.
I think it's sometimes when you're making your way through something, it's
Hmm.
okay to alter your uh, it's until unless you find it ethically wrong, never, you should never do that. But sometimes I feel you need to, when you're in Rome, act like Romans do. So I feel sometimes it's important, but
Oh,
but not always. I'm not asking you to change your identity completely, but I feel that
I would
okay, right,
not. Don't worry.
yeah.
I would
But
anyway
I
not.
think sometimes you have to adjust in the given situation. Like I think that makes people understand you better, and then of course you be you.
Cool, cool, cool. That's give you
This
that.
seems like a big topic of debate. Like I don't know.
No, 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 that's totally fine. So yeah, dressing up and everything is totally fine. But what I believe is,
Yeah,
and I
you can't be like, I'm going to speak less, I'm going to have a serious expression. No,
So I was
that's
talking
not
about that
allowed.
actually. I was talking about
No,
that
no,
only
no.
on the topic, because I have been to Mumbai's best colleges for speaking and corporate trainers and everything for that matter. I'm all well dressed. I talk, but when I talk, people love to listen. So I
Yeah.
believe you need to have that charm and you need to connect with people. You need to have that pain point on point, all right, of people, and then you can just proceed. So the most awaited panelist of our discussion is Divya here. Okay, so Divya, I have a question for you, and obviously it's about your niche, confidence and personal development. And the question is, what role does confidence play in effective communication, and how can individuals develop and maintain confidence in their communication abilities?
Okay, so I personally believe that confidence is all about being comfortable in your own skin and believing in yourself completely in a particular moment. That's how you become confident at any point of time. So, the reason why confidence is important is because you will be able to express yourself in a better way when you are confident. You will be able to clearly articulate the things that you want if you're just confident about what opinions do you have about something. So confidence play a huge role in, sometimes people say that we don't know how to articulate because you're not completely aware of what your own beliefs are and what your own ideas are about something. So which is why we need to have confidence. I feel when we are confident that we can persuade people, especially for salespeople, if you're just confident, people is going to get given into the situation. So persuasion when it comes to confidence is a great tool to do that. If you're confident, you don't always have to speak. If you just have observed the best of speakers, the best of confident speakers in the world, they speak when they are required to speak, and that also makes you a great listener. So if you're confident, you don't need to speak all the time. You can just listen, observe, and understand what's going on. Also, if you are confident, like I said in the previous question, that I could crack a lot of interviews without even knowing the domain knowledge is only because I knew how to overcome the challenge of the conversation that I was having with the interviewer. So I can navigate difficult things. I know how to just turn the question around and ask something else, just answer the way I want to, because I know I'm comfortable and confident in my own skin. So these are some of the things that confidence can help in. As far as how you do that in the daily life, first is I feel that the way you talk to yourself throughout the day matters a lot. Like I don't know, I'm not feeling that great. I don't know what's happening, what's there in that. If you just have like a positive self talk during the day, that really helps in confidence. Like I have literally done this in the last 14 years when I'm even not feeling that great. I'm going to be fine. It's going to be all right. That's how I feel confident during the day, even if I'm not having a great day. So positive self talk during the day really helps. Then what really has worked for me throughout these 15 years of my career is visualizing successful communication scenarios. For example, I had to come for this interview. I was out the entire day, but I still had to. So I was just thinking about this in my car. I'm speaking confidently. I'm having a great time in this panel discussion. So I was visualizing this successful scenario that I'm going to be having at 8 p.m. So visualizing those scenarios help a lot. Anything but preparation. You have to prepare, even for the
True.
smallest things like having an interview or just going to talk to your best friend, and you can just prepare ki something that is going to happen with him or something that had happened with him, and let me see what I can talk about or what questions I can ask him today to make him feel better. So preparation until you feel that you're completely okay with impromptu or just doing any conversation at any point of time. So that's that. And also what I have done, I think it's very crazy, but I've done that throughout my acting journey. I used to imagine giving interviews like open in the air, like talking to the walls all the time. You know what? Yeah, I had a great time shooting that film or this and that. So I used to just like visualize and do practice in my room with no one, just air. So these are the few things that I have personally inculcated in my routine, that every day when I'm speaking to myself, I'm having affirmations throughout the day that it's going to be great. So this is how you can navigate confident communication throughout the day.
Yes, 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 and that's the same thing that I do. So whenever I feel low, or I feel that now I'm about to crib, although I've not done it for years now. So the best thing that I do is, obviously, affirmations do work. So even I have this habit of practicing gratitude after I wake up and before I go to bed. And you people will laugh. Yes, it's a bit hilarious. But whenever I feel low, this is that line that I always say, speak to myself, that I am a millionaire, Anamika. You're successful. You're rich. And the best part that makes me happy is I have a fair and a flawless glowing skin. Because that's the biggest challenge for me, because I have a sensitive skin. But that's not the thing. The thing is, yes, visualizing yourself in a position where you want to be, and at that point in time wherein you feel the lowest, the most negative, it is a bit difficult. People tell me and people ask me that how do you manifest, or how do you visualize, because when you are negative or you feel down at that point in time, there's nothing that can cheer you up, because you feel very low. Say once you flush the emotions, after that I believe affirmations work. And this has magically worked for me. I believe last year, within a year, I think 5 to 6 manifestations of mine have come true.
Hmm. Right.
Literally, obviously, in a better way. All right. So
Right.
yeah, I believe confidence do matter, does matter, and
Also, I
personally.
just want to add one thing, that when we are feeling low or when we are not in that position of feeling better, what you can just do is that feel it. Don't be depressed about your depression. You know what? I'm depressed. It's a depressing day. Oh my God, it's not going to end. But you just need to understand that, okay, today is not a great day. All right, probably I'll just lay in bed or just have a pizza, watch TV, but I'm not going to be depressed about my depression throughout the day. So that has really worked for me at least. So accepting it as it is.
To Divya's point, so I've heard many people say this. They misinterpret, or they interchangeably use the word sadness and depression. So it's a very
Yeah,
big thing.
please. I think people should stop using the word.
I'm sick
It's
and
such
tired.
a big word, and especially the Gen Z. Anxiety, what is for them is like if they're feeling a bit restless, they would be like, I'm
Yes.
so anxious. I have anxiety. I have panic attack. I have a
Right.
toddler who just barged in, and she's just 3.5 years old. And trust me, I'm like so worried because seeing around what's happening to these kids, it's just insane. I think God knows when they will start taking therapy because they're gonna come and say we're feeling so depressed, we want therapy. So it's just oh God. Life is
Okay.
way too difficult otherwise.
Array, it is. So I've stopped. I've stopped. I'll not say because this podcast will go in another way. So yes, let's hop on to the another question, and that's for Trisha, and that's about foundational skills. So the question here is, what are the foundational communication skills that every professional should possess, and how can they be cultivated?
Okay, so each professional is going to have their own field. They need to know that vocabulary. Vocabulary is the foundation and the structure of any language, and then you put the verbs. But the first thing you need to know is the words. So if the person is a manager, he needs to know words about delegation and things that he can use within that realm. It's really hard to communicate in your field if you don't know those vocabulary words. So I think that's the first step, is getting the vocabulary, and then moving forward with, okay, we need to do process work. Well, let's use the passive or just grammar. But I think the fundamentals are vocabulary.
Okay, okay, yeah, I totally get this because when I hear
I'm sure,
people.
Trishna. I mean, I think people would be so intimidated to talk in English in front of her. They would be like, she seems to be so on point.
So they'll
Yeah.
be like, hi Trisha, how are you? Okay, done.
Okay, bye.
No, no. I go in with a smile. I laugh. I'm
Yeah.
jovial in class,
But
but
you look like a person who strongly believes, like she has no other, like all of us have. Okay, fine, when students come to me, it's like, theek hai, koi baat nahi. If you're not able to do this, it's fine. But I think she seems like a person who's like, there's no other option, you will do it and we will do it. And I think that's a great approach. I think that's a
And
great
that's why
approach to it.
Apurva we say that experience matters. She's way more
Yes,
experienced than
absolutely,
us.
way more experience than us.
Honestly, we
Yes.
need to learn a lot from Trisha. So thank you, Trisha, for this.
I just
Divya,
get tired of people saying sorry for making mistakes. It's like, don't say sorry, just do something about it.
yes, I totally agree. Or else they will keep on repeating the same mistake.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. So Divya, Apurva, do you have anything to add here?
No, I think she just articulated it very well, like absolutely precise, on point.
Okay, so clean board. All right. So let's move on to another question, and that comes back to Divya, and it's about business growth strategies. How can effective communication strategies directly impact business growth and expansion? You're on mute. You're on mute. Divya, you're on mute. Hmm. Happens. No problem.
Yeah, am I audible now?
Yes, yes, totally.
Yes, so I was saying that at all levels, for me, starting with having a clear communication with the team, it increases productivity. When everybody is on the same page, they know what they're doing. They're going to be more efficient in what they're delivering for the business. So that has to be I believe when you have good communication skills when it comes to your own business, you'll be able to have better customer relationships. When you know what you are talking about, especially your product, then you're going to be having better customer relationships. When the leaders, especially in the business, they know how to timely communicate the things to the team, then business can make informed decisions. That is really important about what to do and how to do it at a given point of time. So that is really important. I also feel that when it comes to communication in the lead for the leaders especially, I have experienced this personally, that they really don't know how to talk to their team. It's just about, people have started random startups. They really don't know. They hire people in a bunch, and then they don't know how to actually communicate their idea. There was this one time when I was being hired by a startup. This was last year, and I was actually doing something else at that point of time when they signed the contract and everything. And I was like, see, I can join from this particular date, but do not expect me tomorrow for something because I'm not available. And this guy was like, we hired you and we need you the next day. It's important. You have to be there. I'm like, hello, I can't really do that. It's impossible. And the next 2 days, I had to like, I cannot come if this is your attitude. Then I'm so sorry. This cannot
Uh-huh.
happen. So I believe when it comes to having a good communication environment, there's a positivity in the environment. People know what they're talking about. That also kind of retains the talent in the company. Otherwise, it's going to be so toxic and so, people just don't know what's going on. And that has happened in my previous company. So it's very relatable to me. So, yeah, these few things that can really help the business overall.
And I believe the same thing happened with me, the same instance, similar instance, I would say, not same, a few months back with me as well. I would not name the company, I would not name any generation for that matter, but you'll get it. So, what happened was they wanted me to train the whole team in respect to communication skills only. I do not remember it vividly. So yeah, that was that. So when I had a meeting with the CEO was very young, and I'm not judging their caliber, because they are very young. Yes, they are brilliant, and that's why they have a startup and a good turnover for that matter. But when what I believe is, I do not know. Correct me if I'm wrong here, but what I believe is, if you get everything at a very early stage, if you get everything at a very early stage, and especially success, you do not push yourself to learn more. Majorly this happens, and I have seen people. So he told me that you need to train us. Do I need training? And that was his reaction. And I was talking to myself, like, you only need the training first, and then your employees would need it. Because and he told me, Acha, can you tell me what is the basic communication challenge that my company faces? So exactly told him, yes, you do not have you have boundary issues. So, how do you know it? Well, because Gen Zs do that. They are very well with technology. They are very well with research. Very well versed with everything. They have the caliber to do it. But when it comes to communication boundaries, they do not know that even the person is your colleague. You need to maintain a boundary. So we have an office friend, and we have our close friend and best friend. There's a difference between an office friend, acquaintance, and your friend, right? So
Right.
they do not have this gap. And Divya, as you said, they also had the similar tone. So I told my manager, he told me, Acha, when can we start the training? And like, first understand what is the proposal, how would it go, how would I give you the whole training process. So first ask me that, and then tell me, ki, Acha, theek hai, we'll be starting the process or the training from there. I told my manager, just tell them a big no. Like, they are paying good, and I don't care. I do not want to train them. So okay,
And
that's how you
I
do
believe the
the.
most embarrassing moment is when you are having that conversation with the founder or the CEO, and he's like 10 years younger to you. I'm like, what is happening? It's like, am I talking to like a 21-year-old and they have a startup? I'm like, what is happening? What am I doing with my life? So it's like, yeah, yeah, so it's very,
Okay, so yeah, yeah. All right.
yeah.
Cool, cool, cool. So, hopping on to anyone else, Apurva or Trisha, do you have anything to say on this?
It's good.
Okay,
No, no,
fine,
great.
fine. Cool. Also, tell me whensoever I speak too fast or I'm speaking a lot, just tell me, then I'll just shut up. You do not have to talk
No,
so
no,
much.
we are having fun. It's good.
Okay, so the next question I am bombarding, that's towards Trisha, and it's about tailoring communication for different audiences. How can individuals adapt their communication style to resonate with diverse audiences, both internally and externally?
Read before you go. I mean, the world is so
Trisha, sorry to interrupt. I thought you told me.
no, like
I
if
thought you
someone
told me.
no, if somebody has to go to a different country, they need to read
Yeah,
up on the country
Read, that's
first.
true.
They can't just go in and say, okay, I'm like in my country. No, you're not. And like Apurva said, when in Rome, you need to do what the Romans do, and there's a respect. There's a respect as a human being that you're at another country and you need to know how they work, and maybe they don't shake hands strongly. Maybe it's like the wet fish one. I mean, like, an American or a Spanish person, they firmly shake the hands, but in other
yeah,
countries they don't, and you need to know that.
yeah.
So I think it's really important to do some research before you
Research.
go. And then I don't remember the question, so can you repeat it, please?
Okay. All right, no problem. Okay, so the question was, how can individuals adapt their communication style to resonate with diverse audiences, both internally and externally? So that's like,
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you can't go and say you're gonna use the reductions. I mean, you have to use the formal speech. You have to speak appropriately, dress appropriately. You're representing probably your company or your country or whatever. So it is a formal presentation a lot of times, and then maybe not so much. Maybe you're going to a casual dinner, and then you have to tweak it down a bit. So it just depends on what the situation is going to be.
so that was a very very brilliant and a well articulated answer, Trisha. So now moving on to Apurva. Apurva, the question is on utilizing feedback for improvement, and what techniques can individuals use to solicit and utilize feedback to continuously enhance their communication skills?
Okay, number one, like what you said, no matter what age you are, no matter what position you have achieved at a particular age, no matter how old or young you are, or whatever, how big you've become, be a learner. And that's the only way you can grow, because in a world that's continuously evolving, if you stop learning, or if you stop accepting or taking up new things, then there is no way you can grow professionally. So, if we talk about the panel that we have over here, what I learned from Divya is that you look at her and you can sense that she's being such a great listener. She smiles to whatever she thinks she agrees with the panelist point of view. When we see Jishia, we see that she is so articulated. She knows clearly and concisely. She won't beat around the bush and speak a lot, but she would be just to the point. When we talk about Anamika, she would never be hesitant to put her point of view. If she has something in her mind, she would want to state that instead of thinking, "Yeah, bolu, should I say it or should I not? What are others going to think?" So that's these are the things that you can learn from people around you just by being observant. What one of the most important thing is to accept your flaws, to accept where do you lack. If I go and tell Divya that, Divya, okay, I'm really good in communicating with senior students, but I'm not that really good with kids. So, what is the mode of communication I should follow with them? That's when she would take a role of a mentor and feel very happy to teach you. And similarly, you will gain a lot out of it. So that's the whole process of taking a feedback. But of course, the feedback has to be constructive. I would never appreciate someone coming to me and saying, "Listen, you spoke this wrong. Your English was so bad. You should be." I would not give respect to that person. So if the feedback that is coming to you is being presented in a constructive manner, please take that in a positive way, implement that, and be observant. Wherever you go, whenever you meet people, just by looking at them, you can learn so much and then start applying those principles. That's why whenever someone asks me that, name one person who inspires you a lot, I think this is the most weirdest question, because you're never inspired by a person in entirety. You're always inspired by his or her qualities. So I
Yes.
can tell you like five people, and these are the qualities of five people that I admire. So, this is what it is all about. Learn, implement that feedback, and you will automatically grow. There's nothing that can stop you from, becoming a great, great professional.
Yes, yes. I totally get on this because people are quite arrogant as well, to
True.
accept if something is wrong. So there are followers as well, and my friends too. So I am a creative person in my group, and everyone is either a CA or a CS or a CFP or a whatsoever CFA. Okay, all of my close friends, and I am into the creative field. I do not understand. I do not understand. Literally, it's Greek and Latin for me, IT and finance. All right.
Mhm.
At that point in time, when they give me a feedback, oh Anamika, oh, Anu, they call me, my nickname is Anu. So that, oh Anu, you do not even understand this. But when they tell me, they tell me in a very jolly tone, and then they make me understand. Okay, this is how mutual funds work. This is how share market works, and that's the different point that I still don't understand it. But they make a point that I shouldn't feel demeaned because everyone in my group is from a same background.
Yeah.
I am, and the vice versa. They make me write their blogs. because I have that profession. And wherein when
Yes.
I try to give people feedback, many a time, so trainees, they do take it because obviously they have paid for that, so they will take it. But if I talk about other people, be it my relatives or my cousins for that matter, they shrink. They tend to, keep themselves far away from me.
Yeah.
Because, oh, Anamika, oh, Anu Didi, she doesn't like, she always corrects us. Are you are my brother,
They
you're my
become very
sister.
repulsive.
Yeah,
Yes.
so
So
I
you should
will
be a
do
learner at every age. Definitely. That's the way of growing. Otherwise you can't. You have to, like, you have to learn from other people. And if unless of course their approach is wrong, then you can definitely be rude and say we don't want to learn from you. But yes.
I believe feedback is very important, because if I do not know that I have to write D after ABC, then I think the whole of my English will be rude. Okay, cool. Anyone else who wants to add something here? No, because Monica, you only speak a lot. All right. So the next question, the next question is for Divya. And Divya, this is about cultural sensitivity in communication. Why is cultural sensitivity important in communication, especially in a globalized business environment? And how can it be practiced?
Okay, so I can tell you by my own personal experience. So until 2022 January, starting 21 September, I think for 6 months, I was in Norway. Yeah, I stayed there. I was there with my ex-husband, and
Okay.
we were just there. And I used to work for Zara. I was
Oh,
working with Zara as someone who was taking care of the sales and something related to sales. So Indian usually come across as people who are loud, but I was from my childhood days I've been very quiet and listening more and understanding more. So I realized they liked that about me. So, if one of the major reasons you need to be culturally aware is to avoid misunderstandings in like so many ways. You if you just understand how their customs work, what practices they are in, what are the language barriers, so you're just able to understand and thoughtfully respond to people. So, which is why the cultural awareness needs to listen first and respond later. That has been my motto in Norway for almost 6 months. So that's something that has worked. Then I believe if you just understand other cultures as a brand, you will be able to collaborate more globally. You will be able to understand the needs of the other culture that you are working in. So you'll be able to collaborate more. That's what really helps a lot. You will be able to bring stronger relationships if you are sensitive towards people, that what works for people and what not works for people. So you'll be able to have better relationships, and that's how the businesses work. You need to build strong relationships in businesses. So that is why you need to. How you can practice that? First of all, I believe being I've stayed in three countries: London, New York, and Norway. So what I have learned is that you really need to be open minded. If you are not, if your approach is not open minded, that oh my god, this doesn't happen in India, this doesn't happen in India, it's going to be a pit for you. So you have to be open minded and respectful at the same time. So if something is okay for the other culture and if it's not okay in your culture, then you have to be acceptable that it's going to be there. It's not in, it doesn't happen in India, it's okay, but it's how it is. So that is number one. Now, one of the most important things that I have come across uh, has to be tonality when you are speaking. If you are not aware of the tonality used by different cultures, then it's going to be a difficult spot for you. You have to understand what tonality people use, what are the gestures people. So sometimes a thumbs up for you, it could be a thumbs down for a lot of people. So you just don't need to understand what communication styles people are adapting in different cultures, so that you can understand and collaborate in those ways. So these are the few things that you need to be aware when it comes to having a cultural awareness, and communicate the things that kind of creates mutual respect, and that's how it's going to work for the businesses globally.
cool, cool, cool. That was quite insightful, and even I was listening to you very attentively. All right. And do Apurva and Trisha have something to add here?
I just think it's important that people don't generalize because of a nationality.
Yes,
Not
true.
everybody is their president. I
Yes,
agree.
yes. I totally agree. Okay, so one last question, and that's for all, including me. Okay. So yes, the question is about integration of communication skills with personal development. How can individuals integrate communication skills development with their overall personal and professional growth journey?
I think if you sum up everything that four of us have said till now, it would just be the answer of this question.
Go and
So,
restart, resume the podcast.
so I think that is what we've been like,
Yes,
focusing on, that personal development is directly linked to um, your own professional development. You're actually, it's not that I'm a different person when I enter the corporate in my office area, and when I come home, I become that laid back person. I have to carry that identity
true.
back with me. I have to carry those learnings with me. It's not something that I'm going to forget the moment I step out. Like in the office, if I meet you, I'm like, "Hi, Anamika, how are you?" I like, "What's up? What is it?" And I'm like, I've forgotten all the manners, all the etiquette. I don't know how to eat. I don't know how to write. So yes, it's all directly linked to your personal development. It's going to show wherever you go. Talking about cultural diversity also, like when you go to Europe, you're going to represent your learnings. Like it's not going to be anybody's learnings, but whatever you've learned through your professional journey till now, and probably that's why you've been chosen to go.
Hey, Captain.
Yes.
Okay, and then
So,
there's the thing. Oh, there's some kid running out there in the park. Take her and she'll
I
be
think you
singing.
go crazy. Europe is such a nice place. I'm jealous. I was
Okay.
in Spain last summer, and
Uh,
I think like how I the biggest mistake I did before traveling there was I did not acquaint myself with their basic terms, and I would just end up saying "hola, hola" to everyone throughout. I didn't know what to say anything further. But it's so cool if you go there. People are so much into sustainability and everything, and then when you learn that, oh my god, the only people you would see wearing brands were Indians.
yeah,
So I mean, that's what it is. Like you grow, you learn, and that's how you implement.
yeah, true, true, true. Divya, Trisha,
I
anything to
think
add?
for me, making communication as a part of your habit. So it's not about you speak for like 10 minutes and you're like, I'm going to be great at communication. It's not how it's going to work. So you have to make small things part of your habit. How you talk to your mom, for that matter. How do you talk to your father? It could be the way you talk to your house servant, anything. So making these small changes in your daily habit, starting from morning until evening, how do you speak with people throughout the day, is going to create an impact in your communication skills when you actually have to use them and use something, make something out of it. So making them as making it a habit to communicate nicely or having good communication skills on a daily basis, that's going to add a lot of things.
I think for that matter, she's so right. The way how you talk to your helpers truly tells about the person you are. I think it kind of gives a great signal to others as to what kind of person you are, as to how you're treating your helpers. And that's why, in India, a lot of times people directly link your behavior with your upbringing. Like, that is
Right.
that what you've been taught. So that's what it is.
And positive self-talk.
Yes, that's very important.
Yes,
That's
positive
extreme.
self.
That's what we have been discussing. I'm a millionaire, and I knew you're a millionaire.
No, no, no. I'll tell you, Apurva, Trisha, and Divya. So this thing, this is my life is one of the best examples of transformation. I would say. So in my early 20s, oh yes, I'm old now. Okay, so in my early 20s, I was a spoiled brat, literally. I did not have a lifestyle. Okay, whatsoever I wanted, I had that on my table. Okay, and that was obviously not good. My food habits were not good. I didn't used to sleep on time.
Oh
Plus
God.
I was short tempered and I did not used to talk good to people. I was very arrogant. And like,
Yeah.
I am Anamika. I was that kind of a person. But sometimes someday reality check. I got a reality check. I would not discuss that because it's very personal. But from that point in time, I changed myself. Obviously, gradually I have changed. I changed myself completely. Got into meditation. Got into all sorts of physical exercise. So I practice yoga and
Amazing.
meditation on a daily basis. Then talking to my peers, having the positive self talk. I do not remember when was the last time that I have cribbed. It's been more than 6 years, 6 or 7 years that I've not cribbed, and my life has turned magically. I would not say that I've become a billionaire or a millionaire, but I'll give you a few examples of how positive self talk works. I mean, to the listeners or to the people who are watching this right away, that I had a certain addiction to certain things. So, for instance, I love collecting diaries, illustrated diaries. I love collecting miniatures for that matter. So, I do not like to splurge money a lot on all of the things that are not necessary for me right away. So you will not believe that every year I get gifts either from my trainees or from my relatives or from my sister, and those are the things that I really love, and I have not told them for that matter, that they have just guessed okay, Anamika loves this, she loves this. So unless and until I thought about it, it was wonderful. And I am talking about this Europe trip. I've been manifesting it for years now, and I did not know that I would get a chance to go there, and that too all sponsored. So when I met Dhoni, I met Sadhguru. There was a lot of things that magically turned for me. It was all because of self talk, because I manifested it, and I always have this that I am the best.
And the
Okay, and
best part is that you have gratitude towards it. The fact
Yes,
yes,
that you're telling us right
absolutely.
now is that
Absolutely.
you are, like, when we listen to you, Namika, right now, is that you're full of gratitude. It's not that, oh, yeah, this thing happened because I manifested and all, but you're just so grateful and you're still in awe of the fact that my manifestations came to life. So I think that's again a thing to learn, and that's again a very important thing that, it's always said we pray to God until we receive something, and the moment we get it, we hardly barely go in front of God to thank him. But that's what you're doing right now by telling us, like, you're just being you're full of gratitude, and that's a great thing.
also people, there's do you who reads here a lot? I mean, like everyone.
Yeah.
Everyone. Okay. So there's this thing in 2017. I was working on a book. All right. And there's this big publication house I would not name, and it rejected my script. Obviously, my script was not to the point, and I'm still working on my book for that matter. But now I review books for that publication house because I do not know in the heat of the moment at that point in time in that year, I actually told this company will come to me. So I was very appreciated at that point in time, and I'm reviewing books. I've also got the opportunity to speak for one of their biggest events, but I was on my vacation, so I couldn't attend that. So I believe this happened because my English was very bad when I was around 16 or 17 years old, and my communication skills was down the drain. I would not even say zero; it was a negative. All right. So that was one hit that I, tried to improve my English and communication skills, and everything lined up after that. So I believe it must have happened with you people as well in other contexts. That when we keep learning and keep
Yeah,
upskilling
all the
ourselves,
time.
yeah. So miracles do happen. So yes, I spoke a lot again, and but I am very happy to be a part of this. I'm saving your numbers. I did not have Divya's and Trisha's numbers, so I'm saving it and
I'm
sending a
following
WhatsApp
you,
hi.
Divya, right away.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was a beautiful session, very insightful. So, people, at any point in time, if you feel that you are stuck with communication skills or spoken English or professional etiquettes or personal development, confidence, anything for that matter, we all are here for you. You can reach out to us and you can
Absolutely.
have your questions on point. We will be all happy to answer you all. And I hope you people love this session. And I would like to take a feedback from our panelists, Apurva, Trisha, and Divya. So, starting with Trisha. Trisha, how was the podcast session for you?
No, it was lovely. I mean, I didn't talk much because I was nervous.
What are you saying? That's a big lie.
Well, you were nervous?
I am. I'm
Not at
very
all.
shy, but I'm also outgoing. So I'm an ambivert.
You are very sweet.
Very
Right.
nice. It's a lovely opportunity.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Divya, how
Yeah.
was the podcast for you?
I think it was amazing. I've not met Trisha and Apurva. This is my first time, and you as well. So it was lovely, and it's always great to meet new people and talk to them because this is what I do for a living: talk to people. So it's always great to know different perspectives about different things in life. So yeah.
True, true, true. And finally, Bareli ki Barfi types. Apurva.
Sitting in this small town, I'm getting an opportunity to connect with people from all over the world, basically, because we have Chishika also with us. But I think it's a great opportunity, great platform wherein we can actually share our ideas and come to a conclusion that we're working towards a common goal, and in our own different and unique way, and that is being respected by people in the industry, and that's a great thing. We have a lot of coaches, people doing the same thing. Probably a lot of my and Anamika's content would be same, or probably Divya's also, since we have a basic category, but we are accepting each other's point of view. And this is what just happened tonight in this whole session, accepting each other's point of view, their experiences, and their learnings. So, yes, it was insanely great. Very good. Had a great time.
And same with me. I any which way got to talk in English for such a long stretch after a long time. Okay, because I generally train people in Hindi for that matter. But yes, it was lovely. And yeah, so people, tada, bye bye, audience. And
Thank
that
you.
was